guys, so this video is about my London and Paris trip. Long story short, I had an amazing time. This video is going to be about like a quick recap, just me talking about what I did, and I filmed like a bunch of video clips that I was going to try to make into like a video, but I've been sitting with like 2 hours worth of footage, not wanting to go through any of it. So I feel like this was just the easiest way to get this video because I felt like I couldn't make any other ones until I like dealt with this one first. And then like the very last bit of this video, I'll put the time in right here. I'm gonna do an EF Ultimate Break review. It used to be called EF College Break. Completely unsponsored. I just, if you don't wanna listen to the rest of the video, you just wanna know about the break, listen to this time right here and skip to that part of the video. And I will tell you like my honest thoughts about how the tour group and everything was. So I actually got back a few weeks ago, I think 3 weeks now. It feels like a lot longer, but also not that long. I wish I filmed this when everything was like fresh in my mind. I was like, oh, I'm in London, oh, Paris. But it's been some time now. I'm like definitely back settled into my everyday life and routine. But I was gone for 1 week. We spent 3.5 days in London and then 3.5 days in Paris. I loved London because it was very easy to get around with. I didn't feel like I was that abroad for being abroad. It was very easy to navigate. Everyone spoke English. It felt kind of like a New York City, but a lot more safe, clean, and diverse in the sense that you see everyone doing everything. Like someone's a cop, someone's a politician, someone's this, someone is that. You're walking down the street and you hear like 10 or 20 languages and no one's judging you for like, oh, why don't you speak American? Even though obviously they would speak English or something. But yeah, that's what I like were my favorite things about London. I would really consider living there, and I was looking into it actually, but nurses in London are very different than they are here in the US. But while we were in London, we went to the London Eye. I got to see Wicked for the first time, and I have only been to like one Broadway show before that, and I had seen Chicago in New York when I went a few years ago. This trip was awesome for me because I haven't been out of the country in over 5 years, and I had been dying to get out for such a long time, and so this was like the perfect trip. I got to escape, but I got to stay with like a group of, and it feels like you really became like family with the people you were on the trip with, even though you only spent a week or so together.
No. I don't know that. We weren't drinking last night, and we weren't speaking in British accents.
We've had no drinks
we didn't make that song up at all.
This is tea.
Paris was, oh, like as soon as we got there, I was like, oh my gosh, like it was a romantic city, and I never understood how a city could be romantic until I got there. So we did like a riverboat cruise. We got to see the Eiffel Tower. We went in front of Notre Dame. We went to a bunch of cathedrals. We went to the Tower of Triumph. I can't say it because I don't speak French, which was like something hard about being there. But if you can like learn enough phrases and butter people up in their own language, they're usually really nice to you. People in Paris were like really nice to me and a lot of the people that were there. But I noticed that if you've ever seen like those videos, it's called like Americans Talking Loudly. It's totally a thing, and I'm very like hyper self-aware, and like our group was very like Americans talking loudly. But yeah, like I loved Paris. I'm dying to go back. We went out several nights. I'm not a huge drinker, but basically every day we were there. We were like drinking, and like we went out and enjoyed nightlife and stuff, and it was awesome. Like I barely slept at all during the trip, but it was one of those like you're just high on life, and so you can get by with it for a week or so. I like teared up on the way home when I like realized what was going on. I was like, no, I'm not ready to say goodbye to these people. I met some really, like my goal of this trip was to see if I felt comfortable like traveling like solo, like on my own. If I was just like, hey, I'm gonna book a trip to Paris and go by myself like on a whim. And I totally feel comfortable doing that. Like traveling solo really isn't a big deal. Like when I was in the hostels that we stayed at, like I went up and like forced myself to talk to other travelers, and it was so easy to talk to people and ask them for recommendations of where to go if they wanted to go with you somewhere. Whether that was like a restaurant, a pub, or like go see something touristy, or just like, you know, take a stroll down the street. I had met one guy, he'd been to 78 countries, and I was just like, damn. And I met this other lady. I saw her from across the room, and I went to go talk to her after a little while, and I was like, your head is shaved like mine. And she was from Italy. I can't remember her name, but she was just so nice. We talked for like 5 minutes, and we like showed each other pictures of like what we looked like before we cut our hair. And she was telling people like, and she was telling me that women always come up to her like, oh, why did you cut your hair? And she's like, why don't you cut your hair? And yeah, so I felt like the entire time we were there, it was actually quite easy, especially for me because I'm introverted. It's not that I'm really shy, but I'm definitely kind of reserved, and I'm definitely like lazy when it comes to getting to know people. One of my favorite memories from the trip that's like YouTube appropriate was we were going down like the streets in Paris, and we hadn't seen the Eiffel Tower yet, and our tour guide was like, okay, the Eiffel Tower is going to be over here on your right as soon as you go past this building. So we're all like excited, we're like, oh, we're gonna go to the right and past this building, and then like we keep walking, and then like all of a sudden there's this huge space to the left and the Eiffel Tower is right there. So we're all like shocked and not ready for it, and like my breath was like taken away. I didn't really think I was gonna care about the Eiffel Tower when I went. I was like, oh cool, whatever, there's a big tower. But oh my gosh, it was so beautiful, guys. Like it took me away, or like it took my breath away.
So our tour guide told us that the Eiffel Tower is coming up on our right, and then we heard walking, and then all of a sudden it's just to the left, and look at it, it's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, like I love Paris, and I didn't think I would. I thought I was gonna like London better when before I went. Yeah, so we got to go on the Eiffel Tower. We went to the Palace of Versailles. We went to tons of museums, a lot of places in Paris that like I know the names of it if I write it down, but I don't want to try to pronounce it because like obviously I don't speak French. I would say like if you're gonna go there by yourself, learn more than just like basic phrases, but I really just didn't have time to learn that much French. So I was like, where's the bathroom? Hi, nice to meet you, good morning, bonsoir. My favorite thing is that I wanted to show you guys, I got this one souvenir that I was really excited about. I tried to stay minimalist and not buy like a bunch of crap I don't need, or giving someone else like a bunch of trinkets I don't really want from like places I went to. My goal was just to buy like this one bag that I found and I bought, and then get some like wall art for my apartment. And I found this stained glass. There's a way you can see it. I found this stained glass at the British Museum in London, and I was like on my way out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful, I have to buy it. And then I was like, I bought it like very early on in the trip, so I was nervous about like carrying it around my backpack or dropping it, but I got to the States safely, and I'm just so in love with this.
Why should people travel?
Yeah.
Because traveling is a lifetime experience and it opens your mind. And look at me, how open I am.
But yeah, okay, so this part of the video, if you're watching now, is just like a review of EF Ultimate Break. And if I recommend you using it or not. This is an unpaid, unsponsored, completely honest review. I will say there was a lot of things that contributed to my trip, like being extra good, that might be outside of your control, and there's always things outside of your control. Just to get started, like I 100% recommend it if you want to like travel solo but you're not 100% sure you're ready, or you want like the safety of the group. I would definitely recommend it. Basically, I gave these people my money, I made sure my passport was in order, and I showed up. Like when I got there, I had no idea what was on the itinerary. Like I did not have time to plan. Like I had just graduated nursing school. I was like finishing up my residency. I was working 4 days a week with my job, and I was exhausted. And those 3 days that I had off, I was basically just like trying to recoup so I could work the next 4 days. And so yeah, I had no time to plan a trip. I booked my trip 6 weeks before we were supposed to leave. Basically from start to finish, when I first booked the trip, I had booked it so like right before the trip started. I had to pay all of it at once. It wasn't bad. For everything that you get along with the trip, like it's completely worth the money. They were really good about keeping costs down. I really don't know how they did it. I would have expected to pay a lot more for everything that I got. So like a few months before your trip leaves, they have like a Facebook group that they'll add you to, and like as you get closer to the trip, they tell you what you need to do like at that time to make sure you're ready. Like from the very beginning, they're like, make sure you have your passport, make sure it's not going to expire. They tell you to get your visas and stuff when you need to get your visas. They explain the currency exchange. They even talk about the weather and like recommend when to wear, and even like what type of travel adapters. Like they like baby you through everything, which was really nice because I just really didn't have the time to do it. But I could see how it would be really nice if you were just like 18 and you wanted to go somewhere by yourself-ish. That this would make me feel like really safe and comfortable doing that, no matter how old you are, how mature you feel in terms of like traveling and stuff. So like right before, like a week before your flight departs, they send you your tickets, they tell you what time you need to leave at. You have a complete itinerary, you know the name and address of everywhere you're staying. They gave us our tour guides director. Like we had one main guide throughout the entire trip who was there like 24/7 if we needed him. He had us download WhatsApp so we could like message him if we needed anything a few days before the trip started, and like throughout the trip, like if someone got lost, that's how we used, like what we used to communicate to each other. I didn't buy a data plan while I was abroad because I figured a lot of people that were in the group with us would have it, and if I needed it I would just use theirs. I didn't really end up needing it. Like between the itinerary and like pre-planning, when I had the Wi-Fi, like I downloaded Google Maps offline and I'd saved like all the locations of where we were staying, places of where we were going, like when I had Wi-Fi, so I could figure out like what subways to take when and stuff like that. Which was really nice. That way I didn't have to pay for data while I was gone. I would really recommend doing that. That made the trip like a lot easier. Google Maps and then download like... But yeah, our tour director was like hilarious. He was amazing. And he was just so nice and well educated, and like he made the tour like as excellent as it was. So like I could feel like the tour guide and the tour group could really make or break a trip. He said that our group was the smallest he'd ever had, and also the oldest on average. He said a lot of people are usually like 18 to 20, and there's a lot of like mid-20s and even a couple of people who are like 27 and 28 years old, which is the max you can be. But yeah, so we went in off season, so basically everywhere we went to there wasn't a line. Like we went to the catacombs, we went to the Eiffel Tower. We never waited more than like, some places it was as fast as 20 minutes, other places it was just like an hour. The people that I met on the group, I was afraid like I was gonna be like super liberal compared to everybody else. There's like 4 or 5 people that really like made the trip. Like when I think about London and Paris, I think of those people and like what we did together and like the nights we went out and stuff like that. I tried creme brulee for the first time. I had duck. I forget what it's called, but like snails in Paris. What else did I have? Tons of macaroons. Oh my gosh. I came back to Texas and I had some, and they're not the same here. If anyone, like if I have any subscribers from there and you want to send me some macaroons, I would be so happy. What else? Yeah, but like the whole tour is like baby step and like hand fed to you. But at the same time, we also had like 2 free days in each city where you can do whatever you want with whoever you want. So you can either go by yourself. There are some people that came as a couple or with friends, and they did their own thing together that they had been planning to do. And if you were like me, I had no idea what to do in each city. I didn't even know like what was available and what the options were, but I was glad that other people did, and I'm like, that sounds cool, let's go do that. If there's any specific questions, let me know. I'll definitely answer them in the comments. But I would definitely recommend EF College Break if you're anywhere kind of in that situation where like you want like a guided tour because you're not like 100% ready to go by yourself, or you just want to like hit all the highlights of each city and then maybe stay there for like another week or 2 by yourself. And travel a lot slower. It was very fast paced, but for a week I didn't mind. But I had an absolutely lovely time. If you guys have been on any of their trips, definitely leave a comment down below, or if you know anyone who's been, like about what their experience was, because I really liked it. I want to ask them if they'll give me like a link where you guys can like sign up, because if you give me your email address, I can send you a code where you get $100 off your trip. But I feel like a lot of people don't want to give me their email address, and it'd be really easy if they just gave me a link.
It's like shield.
Ready?
I like that.
Hey guys, these are some people I made on the trip, and they're just gonna say if they recommend it or not. This is Cassie.
Hi. Yes, I recommend this trip.
Why would you not recommend it, if anything?
If you're lame, don't go.
Yeah, if you're like sociable, if you're not good at talking to people, it could be like
actually, I'm not great at talking to people, and I've done
You're really good
really
though. Like
well.
you're a pharmacist. I feel like if you have
Yeah.
just like basic social skills.
yeah, basic.
I love
basic social skills.
I like it. I think everybody should travel. I wish we had more time,
Yeah, me too.
basically. So
I'm gonna
that's
stop
my
it and
opinion.
refocus because
2 thumbs up.
But I definitely recommend this trip.
general consensus, it's a yes, but it could vary a lot depending on like what time of day you go.
Yeah,
off
I like
season
going in
versus
the
on
winter.
season. Yeah, how crowded like the places are, and then just kind of who's in your group, which is like what's it called? What's that phrase? Risk of the draw. Yeah,
Luck of
is that
the
what-
draw.
Luck of the
luck
draw,
of the draw.
yeah.
Luck of the draw. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this. Sorry if it was a little bit jumbled. Didn't plan this at all. Take care. I hope this video finds you well. I know it's been a long time since I've seen you guys, but now that I got this video out of the way, I should be making more easier ones more regularly now. Have a happy holidays. Bye.